Let's talk Steelers. It's kickoff time for the Cigar International's Let's Talk Stil'rs show. Sponsored by Cigars International. Stop by our Bridgeville store today.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Steelers. I'm Tantlinger. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're staying warm. I hope you're excited about the NFL draft coming to Pittsburgh in April. I know I am, because I won't be here. I won't have to deal with the traffic, the nonsense. Cleveland Browns and Ravens fans taking over my city. I'll be golfing in Scotland and Ireland. Yes, I'd love to be here, but this is my annual trip to Scotland and Ireland. Hey, don't forget you can win a trip to St. Andrews, Scotland. You can. Log on to usascotlandgolf.com. usascotlandgolf.com. You could be a great golfer. You could be like me and just stink. Just stink. And you still could be in St. Andrews, Scotland and win a trip. usascotlandgolf.com. Check it out. All right. I want to talk about your new head coach, Mike McCarthy. All right, it will be hard as I transition away from him, as I'll call him, Mike Tomlin, not to revert back to him all the time. I'll try to do it without emotion. When comparisons are necessary, I'll do that. When speaking about your new head coach, I got no more time to waste on Mike Tomlin. I just don't. I spent years in his press conferences. I got into it with a few times because I don't take bullpucky from anybody. Made the NFL network a couple of years ago. I'm glad he's gone. I really am. I really am. So, with that said, I want to start with something in regards to Mike McCarthy. Immediately, people came out and said, it's the same coach. All you did was trade Tomlin for McCarthy, and when you look at their records, they're the same coach. Those Tomlinites, those people with TDS, Tomlin Derangement Syndrome, are furious at the hiring of Mike McCarthy because, according to them, they got the same records. Just compare. How could you get rid of Mikey? No. They don't have the same records or career. Okay? They really don't. And I'm going to outline to you why Mike McCarthy is a better coach on paper. Now, his best days may be behind him. I'm not going to go out on the ledge here and say, you're going to the Super Bowl next year. He may tank and win 2 games. But I want to get into the nuts and bolts why Mike McCarthy is a better coach than Mike Tomlin ever was. All right, so it's well-versed Mike McCarthy is a Pittsburgh guy, okay? He didn't go to Pitt. He didn't go to Penn State. He didn't go to Ohio State. He played at some small schools, NAIA schools, okay, out in Kansas. Played tight end. It's coaching where he excelled. He was a graduate assistant at my alma mater, Pitt, in the early 90s. Then he was a wide receivers coach. Somebody thought well enough of him then to hire him for the Chiefs. Okay? He became the quarterback coach for the Chiefs. Then the Packers quarterback coach. I don't know if you remember who was coaching the quarterback was for the Pack in 1999, but I'll let you take a little guess. Then cut his chops with the New Orleans Saints as their offensive coordinator. Then the 49ers. Then the Green Bay Packers thought enough of Mike McCarthy to hire him as their head coach. Okay? As their head coach from 2006 to 2018. Now, that's quite the ascension for a guy that played NAIA football to go through the coaching ranks. People noticed Mike McCarthy. And those franchises we're talking about were some of the very best at that time. This wasn't like he was going to the 0-13 Bengals and said, somebody's got to be the OC. Somebody's got to be the head coach. No, he was within organizations that were at the top of their games at that time. Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers. McCarthy piles up 125 wins, 77 losses. Here's the thing. 8 playoff appearances. 4 NFC titles. North titles. And a Super Bowl victory. You know, that's enough career right there to hang your hat on. A lot of guys could ride off into the sunset after that. Okay? You might remember that 2010 Super Bowl there. I don't like to mention it too much. It was against a little team called the Pittsburgh Stil'rs. You know what I mean? McCarthy takes a little bit of time off, and comes Jerry Jones knocking on the door and says, hey, I could use some of your magic down here in Dallas. McCarthy takes over the Cowboys. They were 8-8 the year before. Okay? Now, upward trend. What is a coach supposed to do? All right? What is a good coach supposed to do? A great coach, a Super Bowl winning coach supposed to do? He was hired to take an 8-8 team that was floundering, and turn it around. That's why he was brought into that program. Well, how do you rebuild a team? Well, you got to get some good players in there like Trayvon Diggs, Micah Parsons, right? You had a decent quarterback in Dak Prescott. McCarthy takes over the Cowboys, and he takes them to a level they hadn't been to before in recent years. They were a program in decline at that time. In decline. McCarthy does exactly what he's hired to do. He rolls off 3 consecutive 12-win seasons, 2 NFC East titles. All right. 2024, they go 7-10. Things fell off. He ends up with a 49-35 record there. If you were watching those Cowboy teams, if you were listening to analysis of those teams, if you listen to why Mike McCarthy was fired at that time, the thought was Dak Prescott is a Super Bowl caliber winning quarterback, and Mike McCarthy can't get them there. Let me say that again. The ideology, the thought was Dak Prescott is so good, why ain't we been to a Super Bowl? Oh, sure, 12 wins. Oh, sure, titles. Oh, sure, playoffs. But doggone it, Mike McCarthy can't get the job done. It's got to be Mike McCarthy. It wasn't. It was a meddling owner in Jerry Jones. Meddle, meddle, meddle. Meddle, meddle in your business. Mr. Rooney doesn't meddle. He watches. He helps. He asks, what do you need? If you know football, you know this now. It don't matter who's coaching Dak Prescott. He ain't got the goods. He ain't it. Brian Schottenheimer took over the Cowboys. He was the OC under McCarthy. They went 7-9 this year. Mike McCarthy takes them to 12 wins, 3 times 12-win seasons, into the playoffs. McCarthy leaves. They go 7-9. How'd Dak Prescott look this year? If you watch football and you know football, I'm going to ask you a question. Would you want Dak Prescott as your quarterback next year here in Pittsburgh? I wouldn't. He doesn't get the job done. Mike McCarthy went in and inherited an 8-8 Dallas Cowboys football team and turned them around through good coaching, through the years of experience he had, through some draft choices and some trades. They don't get to the Super Bowl. Jerry Jones has a hissy fit and fires him. Doesn't renew his contract. They went 7-9 this year. It wasn't Mike McCarthy. He did a great job in Dallas. You Yunzers. Now, what does this mean for your Pittsburgh Steelers? What does this mean for your Pittsburgh Steelers? I trust right out of the gate that Mike McCarthy is going to turn this team around. You got to look at this thing 2 ways. Mike Tomlin left you a disaster with the quarterback situation. Ben Roethlisberger retired in 2022. Mike Tomlin should have had a plan together in 2020. Instead, you've seen this floundering over the last several years. This year was a throw it up against the wall and see what sticks year. Justin Fields. Russ Wilson. Are you going to pin your hopes on a 6th-round draft choice in Will Howard? You can bet your bottom dollar Mike McCarthy is going to take his offensive mind. He's going to find you a quarterback. On day 1, he don't even know who it is right now. When we come into opening seat day next year, he's going to find you a good quarterback. It wasn't like Dallas where he was inherited Dak Prescott and Jerry Jones says, oh, this is our guy. All you got to do is coach him up. Dak Prescott wasn't the guy. Mike McCarthy's going to find you the guy. Maybe not next year. But in 2027, I bet he does. He's going to find you not a 2nd wide receiver, but a 3rd wide receiver. Which Arthur Smith, coming out of Latrobe, didn't have for you. And he's going to find you your future number 1. Mike McCarthy is going to reinvent the offense. He told you this week, I'm a West Coast offense guy. We're going to ground and pound to begin with. Did you ever hear Tomlin talk about ground and pound it? No. When he did have a good running back, Le'Veon Bell, his only thought was, he can run the ball. I'm going to run the wheels off of him. How about tight ends? You like tight ends? Mike McCarthy was an All-American NAIA tight end. Bet he likes tight ends. Bet he likes throwing to the middle of the field. I bet he knows Mount Washington is a weapon. And he won't let Pat Freiermuth languish on the bench. You want to bet? So don't tell me Mike McCarthy is just Mike Tomlin reincarnated. You don't know what you're talking about. You're listening to Tantlinger. Let's talk Steelers. Defensive side of the ball. The man told you at the press conference, I'm sticking with the 3-4. It gave me nightmares as an offensive coordinator. And that's what Pittsburgh football's built on. Linebackers. Defense. And I'll bet you one thing. Unlike Mike Tomlin, who likes playing inside linebackers that are 5'10", Devin Bush, 5'11", Patrick Queen, and weigh 200 pounds, he's going to go back to old school football and get you inside linebackers that can stop the run. Don't tell me Mike McCarthy is just Mike Tomlin reincarnate. Bullpucky. When you're lifting up an AFC championship trophy in 4 years from now, Pittsburgh, and under that, he grooms the next head coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers and teaches them the Pittsburgh way, and that coach wins you another Super Bowl, your 8th, you'll say, Mike McCarthy was a good hire. All right, I'm Tank Tantlinger. Thanks for listening to Let's Talk Steelers. Super Bowl week next week. It's the most glorious time of the year. Put your money on the Sea Chickens. Every dime you got. Don't listen to me. I don't know what I'm talking about. All right, God bless you.